It's still a jungle in here, but today I decided that I am going to try companion planting some of this crazy comfrey out to the fruit trees. This is a great idea, and I wish I would have known about it before I planted the comfrey in here, because supposedly you need to plant comfrey where you want it, because it's hard to move. Because of the root system that it puts down, it's really hard to get it all out of the ground, and if you don't get it all out of the ground and you leave just a little bitty spot, it could possibly grow another plant. Now, if you guys remember, I cut all this off earlier this year, and I cut it back really far. I used some of these, I dried some of them, and then I used the rest of it for composting or putting in the beds for just, organic matter, and putting vitamins back into some of the soil. And this is how it's grown out again. So it has flowered again. So I'm going to cut some of this back and do the same thing with it. But some of these over here, on this side over here, they're actually new plants. Not that came out this year, but they're, I just had one in the corner there. So I have these, so I think I'm going to dig them up, hopefully. And I'm going to use, I'm going to use this potato kind of fork that I got for for aerating my beds. And I'm going to use it instead of a shovel. And we're going to see how it works. All right, I'm going to get my gloves on because it's kind of prickly. My skin gets irritated pretty easily. So I'm going to get these on and see how this goes. Oh boy. It just rained, so I was really hoping this wouldn't be super hard. There's a plastic lid I was missing. I don't know if that was a good sound or not. Yeah, not a good sound. Okay. That can be composted. Put in some of the beds. All right. There's one of them. So look at that crazy root system. All right, well, there's one. Oh, there's more. Pretty sure that is part of it. Oh wow, I'm gonna have to show you guys this. Alright, talking about crazy root system. So this is one that broke off. Oh my gosh, look at that. That is a root going down in there. And it goes like over. There's no way I will get all this out. I'm gonna have comfrey here again. Okay, so this is a ladder that's covered with morning glories, and there was another comfrey plant back there. So I went ahead and dug that one up as well. So now we'll see what happens on this side of the greenhouse next spring and summer, or even this fall. And we're gonna see, if I get some comfrey plants growing, because I probably did not get all of the roots. So we'll see. All right, time to take them out to the orchard. Headed out to the orchard. I'm going to pick a few spots. Hopefully, Mavis will leave the chickens alone. So I've got my, kind of dragging this out here with one hand. Got the shovel and the basket and my other glove. And I'm going to pick some of these trees out here and figure out which ones I want to put some of the comfrey around. I have a few different pieces, and I actually have like 2 or 3 pretty good size plants, and then some other pieces of roots. So I'm probably going to pick, well, I only have 2 bigger trees, so I may put the bigger pieces there, and then put some around. I don't know. I'll just have to make sure that I write it down so I don't forget, because that's what happens a lot for me. So one of the benefits of moving this comfrey and letting it grow at the bottom of these fruit trees, or the base of these fruit trees, you can see I have some strawberries, if you can see those. There are actually some cleavers out here as well, and of course grass. But this one over here looks a little bit better. It's a little bit clearer, but you can see there are a few little strawberries here left. I did have some lavender out here, and that's kind of died. So I am going to put some here, and it's going to benefit the tree, and it would have benefited my garden if I hadn't went ahead and put it in there. One of the benefits of putting your comfrey out by your fruit orchard is that the comfrey has really good roots, like you saw earlier whenever I dug it up, and it will actually go down deep into that soil, and it will bring nutrients up, and then of course that will die back and become a natural mulch. So it brings up a lot of potassium, which is good for the trees, and so that will help it out to be a good companion plant. I want this to eventually be like a food forest. My goal was actually, I put a bunch of cardboard down, and that has decomposed by now, and now it's grassy again. But I had this whole spot back here with all these trees covered in cardboard at one time. We had some trouble with it blowing away, but it actually stayed for the most part. I put some dirt on top of it, but then it decomposed, and I didn't get, my planting gear. So I'm just gonna have to do a little bit at a time. Hopefully I'll get some of those wood chips. I did sign up for that chip drop, so hopefully next year I'll get some wood chips, and I'll be able to cover some of this up and do that for basically for free. This is where one of them's gonna go, and then we'll put another one over here on this big tree here, and then I'll just disperse them out a little bit with these trees that I have no idea what they are. All right, that is done. Now the goal will be to remember that I planted it out there and not to mow it down every time. Hopefully I will pay attention. I should probably get stakes and put out there, because I am horrible about mowing stuff down. I have actually a Juliet cherry bush out there that I mowed down. Luckily it did come back up, so I did stake it. Actually it was staked and I mowed it down. It was a little stake. But I did have gooseberries out there. One of them, totally forgot I'd planted it. I had moved it, and I mowed it down, and I think it died. It did not come back up. But I do have 2 out there, so that's still good. So make sure you stake stuff, write stuff down, mark it. I don't know. I almost need like flashing lights or something. I don't know. I should have had the dogs digging holes. They were digging holes like crazy out there in the orchard. Too bad they can't, I just point them to a spot and they just dig a hole for me. That would have been great. So I do have quite a few projects though I'd like to get done. This is one of them. This needs to be cleaned out and reorganized. I need to get all the cardboard out, put it out in the garden, and all that kind of stuff. And let me share real quickly what I think I'm going to do to the garden though. So if you watch my video on what I might be changing in the garden, I have decided to do it. So I'm pretty excited because I don't know, sometimes change is just good, sometimes it's not, sometimes I don't like it, but in this case I think I'm gonna really like it, and I'm excited to do it. There's a lot of work involved though, as you can tell. This jungle behind me here, I have hibiscus that came up out of nowhere, so I have to move those. I have lemon balm that came up in one of the beds that will have to be moved. I am waiting on the 1500 cave beans. They will have to completely dry up, so that bed will not get moved until that's done. But these other beds just have tomatoes in them, and they're starting to kind of wind down a little bit, so I'm not going to feel bad about that. And I have a ton in the freezer, so I will work on the newest row at a time. It has the least amount of stuff in it, so I will just work on this row, and then I will work my way back and forth. I thought about going ahead and taking the irrigation system up, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait on that and do that right before we move everything. There's just a lot. There's actually a lot to do in here. And my husband told me I need to do it before the end of October because we get a lot of rain coming up, and we don't want to do that. We don't want to get the tractor in here, scooping up dirt when it's wet. So, yeah. So So this project will probably be in several videos, and I will just kind of update you as we go along and share with what we're doing. But I'm really excited. So yeah, I think so. So I may even be asking your input and stuff whenever I start, you know, if we get it out, I kind of rearrange stuff how I want it, kind of see how I want it. I like to do that if I move furniture in the house. I kind of move it around, and then I kind of just know, you know how you know that feeling like this is going to work, or you're like, nope, move it back somewhere else. So that's how this is going to kind of go. I'm just going to kind of place them and be like, yep, that'll work, or nope, that doesn't work. So I don't know, we'll see how it goes. But the Comfrey, some of the Comfrey's been moved, so that'll be good. Hopefully I remember that. I still have a bunch over here. So plant it where you want it, for sure. Comfrey, plant it where you want it. Asparagus, plant it where you want it. Horseradish, plant it where you want it, because I've got to move both of those as well. So that'll be, I will definitely share that too. So yeah, that's about it. So be sure to like and subscribe below. Don't forget to be lovely lights today.